Last night you had a dream, and in that dream there was a person. Maybe they were chasing you. Maybe you were in love with them. Maybe they were just standing in the background of some weird dream restaurant, doing absolutely nothing, just vibing, existing, being a whole person for no reason, and you woke up and thought, who the hell was that? Here's the thing, and I need you to actually sit with this for a second. That wasn't some random face your brain generated from scratch. That was a real person, like a real, walking around on this planet human being that you have actually seen before. Because as far as neuroscientists can tell, your brain doesn't generate faces from scratch. It doesn't know how. It has no reason to. It already has thousands of real ones saved up. So every face that shows up in your dreams, there's a very real chance it belongs to someone you've actually encountered, someone you walked past at a grocery store, someone sitting 3 rows behind you on a bus 6 years ago, someone in the background of a show you weren't even watching. You were on your phone. Your brain saw their face, said, I'm keeping this, and filed it away without telling you. And that's barely scratching the surface of how batshit this whole thing actually is. So to understand why your brain does this, you need to understand how absolutely insane your brain is when it comes to faces. I'm not talking about, oh yeah, humans are pretty good at recognizing people. No, your brain has an entire department, a whole dedicated wing of the building that does nothing but faces. In 1997, a neuroscientist named Nancy Kanwisher at MIT identified this region deep in your temporal lobe called the fusiform face area, and this little patch of brain tissue has one job. 1. Faces. It doesn't give a shit about your car, doesn't care about your house, doesn't care about your dog. You could show it a sunset next to a human face, and it would completely ignore the sunset like it doesn't even exist. But here's the part that really messes with you. If you take that same face and flip it upside down, this region gets way less excited. Its response drops significantly. It's so tuned to the specific way a normal upright human face looks that the second you rotate it, the whole system goes, I barely know what that is. Your brain processes faces in a completely different way from literally every other object in the known universe. Buildings, trees, animals, food, none of it gets this treatment. Only faces. That's how serious this is. But it gets worse, because now you find out how many faces this thing has been hoarding behind your back. In 2018, 2 researchers at the University of York, Rob Jenkins and Mike Burton, ran one of the first studies to actually put a number on this. They wanted to know how many faces does a single person actually know, not names, faces. They had people sit down and go through every single face they could pull from memory, then tested them with thousands of photographs. The average person, about 5,000 faces, and some people hit 10,000. And here's where it gets really stupid. That number only counts faces you consciously recognize. The ones your brain filed away without asking for your permission, the random dude behind you in line at Starbucks 4 years ago, the woman you saw for half a second through a car window, the extra in the background of some Netflix show you had on while you were eating dinner, those aren't in the count. Nobody knows how big that real number is, but it's absolutely massive. Your brain has been running a silent surveillance program your entire life, quietly photographing every stranger you've ever walked past, building a casting library that it uses while you sleep, without your permission, without your knowledge. And you can really see how powerful this system is by looking at what happens when it breaks. There's a condition called prosopagnosia, face blindness. People who have it can see perfectly fine. Their eyes work, their brain works. They can read a book, drive a car, do a crossword puzzle, whatever. But they cannot recognize a face, not their friends, not their spouse, not their own children. In severe cases, some of them look in a mirror and genuinely do not recognize the person looking back. Everything else about their brain is fine. It's just this one module, this one system that's either damaged or was never there. And suddenly every human being they meet is a total stranger, every single time. Imagine that for a second. Your wife walks into the room and you have absolutely no idea who she is until she opens her mouth. Your kid runs up to you at the park and you're standing there trying to figure out if that's actually your kid or if you're about to accidentally parent a stranger's child. That's how dependent your brain is on this one system. And here's the thing. That system, the one running 24/7, scanning and cataloging every face you encounter, no, it doesn't shut off when you go to sleep. It keeps running. Which brings us back to your dreams. In 1977, 2 psychiatrists at Harvard, Alan Hobson and Robert McCarley, proposed something called the activation synthesis hypothesis. And honestly, the idea is hilarious and terrifying at the same time. During REM sleep, your brainstem just starts firing random electrical signals into your cortex. Not a message, not a memory, not a story, just noise. Pure neurological static. And your brain, because it absolutely cannot handle receiving information that doesn't mean anything, looks at this random garbage signal and goes, all right, I can work with this. And it tries to build an entire story out of it. That's what a dream is. Your brain is basically a drunk improv comedian at 3 a.m, getting random words screamed at it from the audience and somehow stitching together a scene that almost makes sense, but absolutely doesn't hold up the second you try to explain it to someone. So I was in my old school, but it was also a boat and my dentist was there, but he was also my uncle. And then a horse walked in and everyone acted like that was normal. Yeah. That's your brain doing improv with random static. And when that scene needs a character, a villain, a love interest, some random NPC standing in the background of your dream grocery store for literally no reason, your brain reaches into that massive archive of faces it's been hoarding your entire life and just grabs one. Doesn't ask you, doesn't show you options, doesn't give you a say in the casting. It just picks whatever face vaguely matches the vibe and slaps it onto a dream character. And it gets even more unhinged from here. Because your brain doesn't just passively use stored faces, it remixes them, like a DJ, but for human faces, and with absolutely no respect for your comfort. In 2009, a sleep researcher named Tor Nielsen at the University of Montreal published a study in the journal Dreaming, where he actually analyzed the faces people see in their dreams, and he found something he called the day residue effect. A huge chunk of dream characters had features pulled from people the dreamer had seen in the last day or two. But they weren't clean copies. Your brain was mixing and matching parts. Your boss's jawline on your neighbor's head, your ex's eyes on some stranger's body, a teacher from elementary school wearing your best friend's smile. Your brain was performing full Frankenstein-level facial reconstruction surgery every single night, and you had absolutely zero idea any of it was happening. But then Nielsen found something even weirder. He called it the dream lag effect. Some faces didn't show up in dreams right away. They appeared 5 to 7 days later, like your brain dropped them into a save for later folder and just waited for the right moment to deploy them. Think about that. You could walk past someone at the mall today, not think about them at all, and 5 days from tonight, their face shows up in your dream as the person chasing you through a collapsing building that doesn't exist in a city you've never been to. Your brain runs a 5-day delayed casting pipeline for your nightly dream productions. But here's the question nobody can fully answer yet. Why? Why faces? Why would evolution go through the trouble of building an entire dedicated brain region just for recognizing faces, and then keep that system running while you're completely unconscious? Think about how weird that is. Your body literally paralyzes your muscles during REM sleep, so you don't act out your dreams and accidentally throw yourself off the bed. That's how seriously your brain takes sleep. But the face recognition system? Nah, that stays on. Always on. No days off. The best explanation we have comes from a neuroscientist named Antti Rivonsuo at the University of Turku in Finland. In the year 2000, he proposed something called the threat simulation theory. And the argument goes like this. Dreams didn't evolve to entertain you. They evolved as a rehearsal space, a flight simulator. But instead of practicing how to land a plane, you're practicing how to survive the kind of shit your ancestors dealt with every day. And for social animals like us, the most dangerous situations almost always involve other people. Can I trust this person? Is this person about to get aggressive? Is this stranger a threat or not? Your dreams aren't random nonsense. They're training simulations, rehearsals for the real world. And to rehearse dealing with real people, you need real people, which means you need real faces. And this is the part where it gets genuinely unsettling. Because if every face in your dreams is a real face, then somewhere out there right now is a person you sat next to on a plane 7 years ago. And last night, in your dream, they were the villain. They were chasing you through some kind of collapsing nightmare school building. And they have no idea. They're just out there, living their life, going to work, getting coffee, scrolling their phone. Meanwhile, in your head, they were a goddamn monster. Now flip it around. You have been in other people's dreams, not might have been, have been. Someone you've never spoken to, someone who saw your face for 3 seconds in a coffee shop in 2019, has had a dream about you. You played a character in a stranger's dream and you'll never know about it. You might have been the love of their life for 6 hours. You might have been the thing chasing them down a dark hallway. You have lived entire lives inside other people's heads, and neither of you will ever know it happened. There's one more piece to all of this, and honestly, it might be the wildest part. In 2010, psychologist Mark Blagrove at Swansea University found that your dreams don't just borrow faces. They borrow the emotions attached to those faces. If your brain grabs the face of some random stranger who happened to be standing near you during a moment of anxiety, that face gets tagged with the anxiety. Even if that person did absolutely nothing wrong, even if you never spoke a word to them, their face becomes a container for your emotion. And when your brain pulls that face back out during a dream, the emotion comes with it. That is why you can wake up from a dream about a complete stranger and feel genuine love, or real grief, or fear so real that your heart is slamming at 6 a.m. and you can't figure out why. So tonight, when you close your eyes, your brain is going to do what it has done every single night of your life. It's going to open that archive. It's going to reach into a library you didn't know you were building since the day you were born. It's going to grab faces from strangers you don't remember meeting and cast them in roles you didn't choose, in stories you can't control, carrying emotions you'll still feel tomorrow morning, whether you remember the dream or not. And somewhere out there tonight, someone who saw your face for half a second on a street, on a screen, through a window, is going to fall asleep and dream about you. They'll never find you. You'll never meet them. But for a few hours, in a world that doesn't exist, you could be the most important person in their life.